Hey guys, this is Avengaar here with my second StarCraft 2 video on Protoss theory and general Protoss decision making with gameplay currently in the new meta. So this game is a practice game between me and a Terran practice partner, and you're going to see me play a little bit different than I would play on ladder, but I think we can pull out some good tidbits of information to kind of help your ladder play, or at least give you something to think about basically. So I'm going to start by mainly focusing on just my vision so that I can tell you what I was thinking at the time, and we're going to go from there. In this game, you'll see that I don't probe scout after I drop my pylon against Terran. In a lot of games, I'm scouting less and less early against Terran, mainly because the only thing they're probably going to be doing is sending out that Reaper, and you're not going to see much by the time you have to leave. If I do probe scout, you can usually get in the base here, and you can check and see if they have a gas. That's really all you're going to be able to find. You pretty much always are going to be building a barracks here and be taking their gas and mining gas. Very rarely you see them maybe go for a command center first, and then in that situation it's great that you scouted, but that's such a rarity these days because it's just not a great build to do gasless builds anymore as Terran. So I'm not going to scout till later this time, and that's somewhat me metagaming the player as well. If this was a ladder, I would probably scout after I'm going to drop the gateway here, because mainly these days I've been seeing a lot of mass proxy barracks and some really cheesy, interestingly strange plays here. But even if I had scouted, it wouldn't necessarily tell me anything. A lot of the time I'm still going to scout this and I'll be like, oh, they're mining gas and a barracks is out here, and then in reality they're building 2 more barracks over here and massing up Marines, and then when I take my Nexus and begin to tech up, they walk into my base with 10 Marines and 2 Reapers and I'm dead, kind of thing. But, I mean, with this game, I'm taking the bet that he's not going to do something like that, just because I kind of metagame him as a player. I don't think a lot of people in practice games are going to do strategies like that. Maybe it's a bad decision on ladder, just something to think about there. So, we can speed it up here a little bit. As I said, pretty standard opening. I'm going to build a gateway here. I usually, in the past, like to try and wall off sections here and here to get stop Reapers from coming in, but I've been having some issues a lot with Liberators and drops coming in like right here, and then I can't get my Stalkers back here quick enough. Or I had a game yesterday that I lost that I walled off everywhere except for one little spot, and he came with Widow Mines that had the upgrade that made them burrow faster and dropped them all right here. And I couldn't even split. I had nowhere to go because all I could do was move around in this area, and he killed all of my probes at my base, and I lost it because I walled off. So I've been doing small walls now that maybe can hopefully limit movement to some degree, but not completely wall off both sides. I think that's overkill a lot of the time. It can be good. I guess it's a stylistic thing. So you're going to see me take a gas after a gateway, and I'm going to drop my Cyber Core here thing. I think I usually go up to about 19 probes before I drop that, so you're going to see me float a little bit of money here before I drop that Nexus. Yep. So I'm running over there quick. Okay. I'm still not even going to scout at this point because chances are this worker's going to walk across the map here and get picked off by a Reaper that's probably on its way any day here. That's my guess, though, so I don't know that's what's happening. He could be Marine SEV all-inning me and have a bunch of barracks right here for all I know. And I'm taking that risk with this build. Really, you're playing to the percentages in StarCraft, guys. So, by not scouting, I'm getting a little bit of an edge that I could have maybe won a game instantly if I had scouted correctly. But I don't think it's worth it, especially in this game. So I'm going to take my second gas here after I drop that Nexus. I'm going to get a lot of gas because I'm going for a Stargate here eventually. So one change from the past patch was that I used to get a very fast Mothership Core because it was so strong at really defending anything that was coming. Even if he had been doing a Marine SEVL in, I probably could have held it before with just a Mothership Core because Overcharge was so... you had it all the time and it was so powerful. Now I'm delaying that Mothership Core because I don't think it is quite as strong, quite as early, and I really want to get out some fast tech to get on the other side of the map and scout, maybe do a little damage. So I am chronoing out an Adept here to stop the Reaper that I'm guessing is coming. Oh, boom. So, now that I see this Reaper, I pretty much can put him on a smaller variety of builds. I know that he took his gas around the same time I did, maybe a little bit earlier, and probably has a barracks walling off here, and he could have either built more barracks now, and be going for an all-in or do some sort of tech all-in. But so the chances are that he's not doing a sort of tank, Banshee, Liberator, Marine push. If you guys have seen those on ladder, because you don't want to use this 50 gas that early for a Reaper when you need to get that tech fast. So I'm putting him on a macro build, because otherwise he doesn't really need the scout if he's doing some crazy all-in. So he's probably macroing. Chances are he probably also has a command center about the same as mine to finish, maybe a little bit later, earlier. And then I'm going to guess he's going to go into a factory for Cyclones, because that is his standard build right now. So his job right now is he's going to hang out here and try and catch that Reaper if he comes back. I'm chronoing out another Stalker, and I have dropped my Stargate here. This game I'm going to go for an Oracle to try and harass a bit. So I'm going to chrono out the Stalker. Once the Stalker gets close to coming out, he's going to run out of here. Now he's going to go scout the front. Adepts are super good at scouting compared to Stalkers, as I'm going to explain in a sec here. So he's just looking back and forth. That Reaper can flank up around here, or he can come this way only. So he's going to hang out there for a while. I'm going to keep chroning out probes now, or chroning out this Oracle and probes. Alright, so I've just seen the first of his front right now, and it looks like I guessed his build pretty much exactly at this point. It looks to be standard for the most part. He could have a bunch of hidden barracks, and this could be a fake. But for all I know, this is probably most of his Marines. He probably there's a good chance he's got some somewhere else waiting for like a Oracle or a dropship. So, but it also doesn't look like this is a big enough force to be all-inning me. And I know that he has a reactor, so it's not a fast stim. I'm just going to keep him right here and see if I can kill a Marine. And it doesn't look like I'm going to get a Marine. At the same time, his Reaper dived in to try and get some scouting information, and he does a great job to sneak it past. And he gets up here and catches that Oracle popping out. So he knows I'm on an Oracle tech, and I do a little surround there, or a little catch on it. Okay, so that Oracle is going to go across the map, and primarily you want to try and keep it alive in this situation. You're going to see how well a good job I do at that. So I know he probably has Cyclones, so I know I have to be a little bit careful. Or at least he has one Cyclone. The normal build is to do one Cyclone for them, and then usually build tanks, or go into Liberators, or more Marines and Stim kind of thing. I get a bit gray on what Terran builds are. I think they're all a bit up to interpretation at that point. This Adept is going to stay right here because it's going to continuously send its shade up right here. And if he happens to put his wall down like an idiot, I can sneak in and see his whole base, and that's a really big deal. Especially because then I can cancel it. So he's going to hang out right here, especially because if he walks down the ramp, I guess he gets killed. But his whole job is just going to be scouting at this point. So he's going to the Oracle's going to dive in here and try to get kills. I usually go to the back first because people tend to remember their main mineral line more because it's got more SEVs on it. And boom, there's a Cyclone here. So I have to quickly, as you see, get to a vision, an area where he doesn't have high ground vision. And I do that and he loses the connection. So I possibly could try and do some sort of juke maneuver and get back here, but I know that this Cyclone is probably going to stay in this area. Okay, it looks like it banks back there. So I'm continuously poking up here with the Adept, see if I can hurt some Marines, and this Oracle is going to keep trying to look around. At this point, I am going for something pretty darn risky. I'm getting the Adept upgrade, Resonating Glaives, I guess, and I am grabbing a third Nexus. If he walks across with these Marines on the map and I don't know, whatever else he happens to have, I am probably in bad shape. But I don't think he's really seen much. The only thing he saw was that I had a... Oh, maybe he did see my Twilight. Oh, he did see that. So, I mean, that doesn't really tell him all that much, though. It could be Blink, it could be some sort of all-in, so he's probably still a bit scared. Let's go back to my vision. Okay. So he has no idea I have a third base, so he doesn't know he should go all-in, and it could be a variety of builds at this point. So as we're going to go, I'm going to take this base pretty greedily. Pretty greedy. Okay, real quick there. He did move down and he picked my scout off, so now I'm in the position where I could die at any moment. So I'm going to try and dive in here and see if I can see what he's got, see if he's got some defenses. Alright, so this is some pretty sloppy micro here for me, but so I see a Cyclone. I'm assuming this isn't the same Cyclone because it looks like it was in a different position. I'm assuming the one Cyclone is somewhere in this area. And I also see this factory that I did see before. And he's building a missile turret. So I'm going to try and get a kill here and mess it up horribly. And then I'm like, oh, I can get out, and I don't. So, life of an Oracle. So I did a little bit of scouting. I saw that there's a factory, which doesn't really tell me anything. I knew there was a factory. and I saw that he's probably going to be getting upgrades or at least some turrets. So I'm going to stop with Oracle production at this point. I only built the one. It probably would have been worth it building another one just for scouting purposes, but it really looks like he's preparing a ton here. And I want to try and survive a big attack if it's coming. So at this point, I guess let's look at his vision to see how close I am so far in this. Oh, that's not what well, we can do units as well. So we're going to look, and he's starting stim, so he's probably not going to be aggressive, basically. So this third base is probably going to be safe. And he does have a ton of defense, for the most part, at least from Cyclones. He's going to have a missile turret and a Cyclone, and there are 2 Cyclones, so I did kind of guess right that in the game, and it was a good decision probably to not make another Oracle. Especially with this kind of overly tech-heavy build right now. I think I only have 2 gateways, which is quite low, and it's quite risky at this point. So I'm going to drop more gateways, as I just said, because it's pretty dangerous to have this low gateway count. And I'm going to keep building some adepts here, just to try and fight that decently large marine count I saw. And in the game right now, I was getting pretty darn scared. I didn't have any great way to scout, and I didn't want to sacrifice any units. I probably could have probe scouted, which I will probably do eventually here. But normally you'd want to scout out with an adept here and kind of look around, maybe shoot the shade up here. But I need every little unit I can possibly get, because if there's attack coming, I am just done for. Even if I'm still adding on upgrades for later. So I'm kind of taking a pretty big risk here, guys. StarCraft's all about calculated risks, and I'm guessing he's not going to attack just based on his defensive posture and seeing 2 Cyclones. He could very well do it, but I'm betting or hedging my bet that this is going to be a longer game, and all of these upgrades and tech is going to pay off quite a bit if he doesn't attack me. So you see, yeah, if we look right here, I am up a good amount of probes. Neither of us know this, and he's got a way bigger army. This would kill me so easily. If this was right here, I'd be dead. But yeah, look at this little pitiful army. But he doesn't know. He's not really scouting a lot, so he's looking around. Understandably, Terran doesn't have the best scouting at this point. He could drop a scan, but he hasn't really been putting out... He's just adding a starport on now, so he can't really go scout with a Liberator or anything. I mean, he could run a Marine across the map, but I mean, there's a good chance that it's not going to do anything. He's probably going to get killed somewhere in here, just randomly by an Adept or something. So he's just adding on a third now. So I'm in pretty good shape, I think, just because he isn't all-inning me, and I'm kind of defending on. Alright, yeah, well. So, what I said before was, I'm probably going to send out a probe scout here. I did. I sent that probe down and around here, and it dropped a pylon right here. This is kind of the best I thought I could get for catching a dropship that came through this area. Preferably, I would have them, like, right here. But there's a wall there, so I can't get in there. This is just to scout and maybe later warp in some stuff and whatever. And then I was like, I really need to see if he's taking a third or what he's doing. So I sent that probe in, and it died right here. He's his little probe corpse. And I saw a bunch of Marines and like a Marauder or something like that. And let's see what there actually is there. Yeah, 2 Marauders and a ton of Marines. So I safely assumed that he was taking a third base and macroing. I didn't see any Medivacs or Liberators, which is good for me. So that means he's pretty heavy on bio at this point, and he's probably not going to push out until he gets those counts up. So I'm just kind of macroing up. And I'm going to send this probe out here, because right about now, at least from what I've seen, he could probably start dropping me. If we scout, that's probably pretty true. Oh, he's just adding it on. Yep, so I'm pretty well timed. He's got 2 tanks, so that's a little scary for me. Okay, I'll go back to my vision. Alright, so this probe is going to be first line of defense for scouting medevacs coming in this way, and then I'm going to have this pylon to kind of maybe catch a little bit more vision. And this will be helpful later if I take this base as well. So I have a little bit of scouting information. So preferably I would have robos and observers, but I am playing no robo at this point in the game, which is a little bit strange and probably not the best way to necessarily play. You probably want to add a robo on definitely around this time, but I'm still a little bit scared of dying, as I know I probably took a third base well before him. So I'm just trying to get up Storm and kind of go more into upgrade route instead of going into a robo. I have a photon cannon. I should have built one over here, but I'm assuming I can hopefully pick it off. I have a photon cannon here just for extra defense as well as to deal with Widow Mines. I do not do a great job of dealing with Widow Mines theoretically here. There should be a cannon here and there should be a cannon back here. But if a dropship does come in here, I hopefully can scare it away. This back route is quite dangerous for me, and at some point I should put like a few stalkers here, or at least really put a nice defense here too to scare him away if he does try and sneak into the back. So So I'm getting up these High Templar and chronoing out Storm. I should start another upgrade here soon. Yep, I am very low on gas, and that is why I'm not doing it. I'm going to start it here soon. I'm not sure what I started. I think I started Blink. Alright, so I was scared of a Liberator push, or some sort of Liberator, because if any Liberators came, I was pretty done for. I didn't really have any great way to deal with Liberators. And right now, we're both just macroing up for the most part. I'm very low on scouting information, and it's very dangerous. So I'm pretty spread out, which is really the best I'm going to be able to do here. If he were to slam in here with all his army, I would hopefully just drop 2 overcharges and back off. Maybe turn these into Archons. I don't know. My Storm is pretty close, so I probably wouldn't. If he comes Doom Drop back here, I can hopefully pick off a Medevac and scare him off. If he comes along here, I will see him. So that's kind of banking for here. This is kind of a scary route. If he does something like this, I'm a little bit open to that. So that's just telling you basically my scouting information right now. It's not great. This probe is going to go hopefully give me better information, see if he's taking another base or what he's up to. And okay, I see him moving across the map. And now, let's see if I have Storm yet. I just finished Storm, so I honestly feel like I'm in pretty good shape. There's no way he's going to have Ghosts. Nobody fast techs Ghosts unless you're doing some sort of weird build. And he scans and sees this army. He probably thinks this is my whole army. I don't know if that's a good decision for him or not, but every time I scan, or if I scout an army, I always for some reason assume it's their whole army. So he's probably going to move up into this area, and I'm going to hedge my bet that if he doesn't do a Doom Drop right here, this is a scary little spot that he can get into. So I've got these units here. I'm keeping, because I'm bad, I'm keeping my High Templar and my Sentry separate because I have a hard time using both of them in the same control group, or in the same group. Alright, so he is pushing. I see there's tanks in this little niche, and I'm a bit scared of that. So I instantly try and storm them to start softening everything up here. It looks like it's a really marine heavy force, so Storm looks like it was a pretty good choice. And I drop like all my Storms instantly here to try and kill the Marines as fast as I possibly can. And quickly I focus down those mech units. Alright, so let's look at both players' army there. I basically just rode that purely on Storm being strong. I had a meh army, and he had a relatively strong army, but as you can see, I feedbacked one of the medevacs and I stormed the rest of them, and he lost a lot of units pretty quickly just on the storm, and he's got a lot of really beat up units from stimming twice. So he's just trying to get out here. I don't want to over chase just because I have High Templar and they're not great at chasing. Miss rally for him here. So I'm going to take another base. I'm assuming I'm in pretty good position now, especially because I've been chronoing out upgrades somewhat. Alright. If you saw, there was a medevac that came through here. You didn't see it probably, because I missed it again. Medevac came through here, and I caught it. Let's go back like 2 seconds. That was way too far. Whatever. I guess we can rewatch. I guess we can watch this engagement from his part. This might be interesting. Alright, so he's coming in here, and he scans and sees my army, and he's like, oh, I can probably beat this, especially if he gets those tank shots on my High Templar. And I don't think he target fires, which is, I guess, a mistake from his part. Yeah, let's go just fast. Yeah, I think he only has 2 medevacs for this huge amount of bio, and it really hurts him. Feedback, and yep, take another one out. I don't know, miss micro maybe on his part. So I think I blink forward, and no, he grabs a good call by him. Alright, so he's like, oh, he's going to flank around with this medevac that we saw die at the last second here. Assuming that was my whole army, but I actually have pretty good defenses, as I explained over here. So he's going to run right into them perfectly for me. And not accomplish anything. So, the mind games of that right now, where he knows I am prepared for drops, at least right here. This happens to be my strongest drop defending position. If he had come through here and dropped that, I would have probably looked a lot weaker. So he's probably not going to drop a lot more, unless he's really confident in himself, because he just got nothing for that really expensive dropship. Full of good stuff. So he's probably going to turtle back here. He knows he lost that fight, and he's going to sit back on Liberators. I don't think he doesn't. He has 1-1, so we're not too far off. I have 1-1 too. I guess my upgrades weren't great. I probably should have been. Yeah, I'm very low on gas this whole game. I don't know why. Making a bunch of Archons just to kind of supplement this force. So I don't have great vision. Do I have any vision? Not really. I'm coming over here to scout this if he takes this base, and I'm going to kind of move forward into this area to try and lock him in his base, because I'm assuming he's got a wall of Liberators that I'm not going to be able to push yet. So I'm just going to take another base and move up. I don't really know what he's doing, but I'm pretty sure he's got a standard comp. This comp of mine can pretty much deal with anything. So I've got some Archons just in case I need to actually fight a fight. I'm a bit scared. I don't want to move up this Observer into right here, because there's a really good chance he's got a missile turret right here, or maybe even just like right here. 100% sure he's got one back here. Everybody is going to put one in your mineral line. So I'm keeping it right there just to make sure you're not catching him. Alright, and I lose a bunch of stalkers. Sloppy. I tried to stay on the edge and didn't do it very well. Alright, so he knows I'm here, and I'm just going to scare him. Be like, whoa, no, I'm going to attack you. So he's hiding back. Doesn't know what to do. Let's see what his vision is. Alright, yeah. He is spreading out his units. Yep, see him dropping the scan there? I assume there'd be a missile turret here, but he knows there's probably an observer, because that's Protoss, but I have it safely over here, unless I had already died. No, it's with my army. Yeah, well, it should be like right here. Maybe it would have gotten seen if I had left it there, though, so maybe it was good. So he's clearing, trying to figure out what he should do. This time I'm spreading out more pylons here. I think my probe died or I moved it. Taking this base, and this gives me even more drop vision. Now I'm going to basically do the very evil Protoss thing of keeping my army here and posturing while I do a massive doom drop of sorts in the back. So he's poking at me. I see he's got tanks. I don't really want to fight this. This is just to keep him off this base for a while. Because, I mean, his army's not super fast, and especially because it's bio, mainly, I can just storm it wildly if he chases me. I should have something up here just in case ghosts come, but I don't think he has ghosts yet. I feel like most Terran players try and stay away from building ghosts unless they absolutely have to. Just because, I don't know, they're not fun to control. So I am transitioning into Colossus here, which is probably, once again, a lot of people are going to think this is a weird choice, but I was a bit afraid of actually him eventually getting ghosts, and I figured this was going to go into a long game, because I had no intention of actually attacking him with this army. So I'm going to go into double Robo Colossus, and then I'm also going to start building Tempests here, because I'm assuming his Liberator numbers might get up. So I'm preparing myself for a ultra late game scenario. I'm assuming that this army can slow him down enough that I can get out a few Colossus, or get out like a Tempest and kind of pick away at his Doom Ball of army. Yep. So this guy's going to go over here and probably, yeah, he's going to go right here just to add for a little bit more scouting information, or at least if he flies by or something. And I'm going to do a little trick here. So I'm going to go in with my theoretical Doom Drop, and I'm going to drop... Eventually I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to drop one Adept right here. So if he sees this notification right now, your units are under attack. Personally, when I hear that, I'm like, oh shit, and I like throw a bunch of army over here. Or at least I cut off a piece and I throw it over here. But it's only one Adept, so you kind of have to try and figure out, he's like, how much do I need to send for one Adept? It's like, do I send a big chunk over there? So if he sends like his whole army right here, this can do a bunch of damage, and then I can move up with this army and just kill all his Liberators. So he has to be kind of careful here. So then I go, and this guy is just kind of the distraction I was saying. Here to get, he's working on it, and I drop 3 Adepts, and his Cyclone died or did some stuff other, so he really doesn't have much for defense now. And I start doing a lot of damage because Adepts are quite good at stuff like this. And I send some of them into the main mineral line. And some of them, I think, are going to come in here a sec, right next to the Marines. And then a few of them I cancel and keep them in the back line here to try and pick off some guys. He does not have anything over here. He only sent, like, 3 Marines at the first time to deal with these. These guys are going to get a lot of damage done. So you see his SCV count is just dropping like a rock. And this is getting a lot of damage done. And he only has +1 armor, and I have +2 weapons, so I can 2-shot them, I believe. Yeah. So this base got wiped out, essentially. These Adepts doesn't even matter. They're just looking around at this point. So I see what he's doing. He's pretty much playing standard. So I got a ton of damage down here, and I know that I basically just have to survive now. But I'm gonna keep this army here just to storm him if he tries to move out. Make kind of a sloppy move, and I park it too close to the missile turret, but I really just wanted to get some Adepts in here to try and get the last little bit of workers that I can, because I have a lot of money at this point, and I am maxed out. So I'm going to pick off a few more workers. You know, just kind of do my best to try and do as much damage here. So I know... Actually, when I was in the game, I wasn't sure how much economy or how much bank he had behind this. I'm actually a pretty good... I mean, he has no economy compared to me anymore. I have 79 probes, so I overbuilt quite a bit. I have, like... I mean, every single base is pretty much oversaturated. But I am taking a 5th. Alright. So he realizes that he is very all-in at this point. He needs to get some damage done. And I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do. I should have noticed this earlier when I was playing, but I just started running, and then he caught up to me pretty easily. So I'm just dropping carpet storms everywhere to try and save it. And all these High Templar are full energy, and they're not necessarily even getting off all their storms, but like, ow, as you see. The medevacs are over here carrying tanks, and not over the bio. So they just murdered his army, those storms. And I lost a lot of expensive stuff, but I've got my pretty tech-heavy army here as backup. He hasn't even seen the Colossus or the Tempest yet, so I have a pretty scary army. So hopefully I pick this guy off. Oh no! Yeah, I target fire those down. Hopefully, no, I don't. I just ignore them. And the Colossus are, I guess I've got +3 weapons now. What is he on? 2-1. So I'm 1 upgrade up on each, which is pretty strong for me here. I really don't want to fight into all these tanks, so I'm going to probably keep poking at him here a bit. But I wanted to pick a few off, and it looks like it's kind of turning bad for me, so I fall back, and I know I have a lot more economy behind him. So during this, before this attack hit, I did save some of my gateways, and I sent a few adepts here. These are going to be important to get inside his base as best I can. This adept still over here got ignored. I think he just decided this base wasn't even worth dealing with anymore, and once he's killing supply depots. And these adepts are going to go into this mineral line, because I did know that he had a bunch of workers here left. So he's got to hopefully micro on 2 fronts here. We're both kiting back and forth and kind of trying to kill a tank here, then back off. I don't know if that was a good engagement for me. I should spread this army out more, but I'm microing here a bit. And these adepts do a ton of work, essentially taking him out of this game. So he is actually 100% all in here. This is the last army he's ever going to get. He just lost. I mean, I know this one's empty, and I know this mineral line's empty, and I know this is mined out. So unless he has this base as a secret base, which I did send a pylon over here just in case he's still in this game, I can warp units over here and check if this base is up. Other than that, he doesn't have these ones. That would be stupid, and he doesn't have this base, and I know he doesn't have this base. Eventually I did get an observer just to check if there was a dropship coming over there. So I'm just going to keep poking and trying to delay. There's no reason for me to try and end this game instantly. I kind of just want to power as many units as possible. I don't have that many gateways at this point in the game. I think I have more than 5. I probably have like under 10 though. I should probably have like 15 to 20. And I am floating a bit of money, which I should have had, but I think I'm fine at this point. After I killed all those probes early in the game, I kind of or all those SCVs, I kind of relaxed because I figured I was in pretty decent shape. All right, he kind of realizes this push isn't getting anything done, and he's at 32 supply, and I'm still powering out units. Yeah, I'm just massing as many Colossus out as I can, which I'll probably do fine against anything. All right. So that was a lot of talking again, and this replay did get extremely long like the other one. I just tried to talk through everything I was thinking during it and sort of my responses. I don't think that the build I did here is that great. I think it has room for improvement, but I do think everybody has builds have room for improvement. I think even the pros, especially. I mean, if you're losing games, or even if you're not winning them cleanly, there's always room for improvement. I'm not sure how good this build is, mainly because it was overly risky in a lot of phases of the game. It did essentially win me the game because I was so far ahead of all that risk, though. So you kind of have to balance on ladder the risk to reward of doing certain things, like taking such an early third like that, or not scouting early, or things like that. I don't think this matchup requires as much scouting, if you noticed, as PvZ, mainly because they're not going to be able to tech switch on you. And none of their things are going to really require extremely diverse answers. Blink Stalkers pretty much deal with everything, especially because I had a Stargate. I could have built a Phoenix early if I saw like a Liberator or something, even though I did need to eventually want to get Blink for it. You don't have to worry about a Muta switch or an Ultra switch or Broodlords or really anything like that, like Battlecruiser switches or something like that. That's ridiculous. None of that stuff actually would ever do anything. So he's got his 1 mineral here, which I think is kind of cute. Alright guys, so that was my second video. You guys should check out my first video. It's on decision making in PvZ, and this one is on PvT. I will probably be doing more videos when I can find some decent replays of myself playing. I've been playing a lot of games, but they haven't been always the most interesting games. With the new patch, I think that a lot of players are playing more aggressive or more cheesy, and it ends up being very boring games for the most part. One player either dies to the cheese or defends it or whatever. So maybe I'll do a PvP next. We'll see. Alright guys, I'm Avengaar, and thanks for watching.